So if we truly believe and know that God is working all things for our good, then why are we surprised when God works things out for us? I mean, shouldn't we expect for things to go our way or expect for God to take care of us in every situation?
Hi, I'm Pete, and this is Shauna, and we are Gallagher Family Discipleship. On a daily basis, we invite you into our home to share in our Bible study process. Today, we're studying Romans chapter 8, verses 28 through 30, and I'm going to read this scripture and we'll get started. Verse 28 says, "And we know that all things work to the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called, and those he called, he also justified, and those he justified, he also glorified."
So, there are a lot of times in our life where we do not feel like things are going to turn out in our favor. But we must believe and know that they will. We've got to trust God in every kind of situation, whether it's sickness or pestilence or financial struggle. If it's
Pestilence.
yeah, if it's family situations or relationships, we need to place what we have control of in God's control.
Right. Even little things, your car breaking down or the refrigerator going out, all those things that are so frustrating, right?
Yeah.
And they're frustrating that happen in your life, but we have to realize that God has a way of making those things work in our favor.
He absolutely does. And we have, if you've been in church at all, you've heard that Romans 8:28. That's one of the most encouraging scriptures in the Bible. It's one of those things that reminds you, just trust God. Trust God with your situation. Trust God with anything that may come your way that looks bad, because God can take care of you. He can take you out of anything. He can take Joseph from the pit to the palace, then surely he can take us out of a situation and help us to be better, stronger.
I mean, what it's saying is not that bad things aren't going to happen to good people, right?
That's
It
right.
rains on the just and the unjust.
Yeah.
You're going to have, we live in a fallen world, a fallen creation. You're going to get sick. Things are going to happen. Things are going to break down.
And it's not God's fault.
Right? People are going to die. And these things are going to happen, but God has a way of working those things out to where it drives you closer to his purpose for you.
Absolutely.
And pushes you in a direction to where you're a better servant of his. You're better qualified, more patience, more understanding, more qualified to minister to other people who might go through the same thing. And Shauna mentioned earlier the story of Joseph, and that's a great story, an example of, hey, everything didn't work out, looked like it was going his way, but in the end, we find out it did go his way.
Absolutely.
He had 11 brothers. They really didn't like him. They sold him into slavery. The dude becomes a favorite of the slave owner. Then he gets accused of raping his master's wife, gets put in prison.
Yep.
The guy's in jail. Just so happened he has this gift that God had given him to interpret dreams.
Yep.
He interprets one of Pharaoh's dreams, and bam, he's second in command of all of Egypt, the most powerful nation in the world. And God used that to later save an entire nation of people. When they come to him begging for food, he's like, all right, come live with me here in Egypt. I'll take care of Israel, the nation of Israel. So God turned all that, being sold into slavery, being accused of rape, being put in prison, and he turned it around to where, hey, I'm going to bless you, and I'm going to bless an entire nation of people because of you.
Yeah, absolutely. God has a way of turning things around. He takes hopeless situations and he brings hope. All we have to do is trust in him. And the scripture in Genesis 50:20, it says, "As for you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today." And that is Joseph. Say hi, Judah.
Naked baby.
A naked baby. So this is Judah. And Judah is an example, a great example of how God has worked in our lives. We went through a lot of heartache through struggling with infertility. But God promised us that we would have children, and we put it in his hands. We didn't seek after a doctor for fertility treatments. That was how we felt like we needed to trust God.
Right.
And we trusted him, and he took miscarriages and heartaches and all those things, but he turned it around and he allowed us to have a testimony to help others and to truly appreciate these children we've been given. Okay.
So be confident that no matter what you're going through, that God has a purpose, right? He may not be the one who put it on you or caused it to happen, because like I said, we do live in a fallen world, but he has a plan for your future that will work it out to be in your favor.
Absolutely.
So going forward, we love you. We ask that you continue to study the Word in your home, talk about it with your family, and remember, there's 4 things that a disciple will do every day.
And that is encounter God, exalt God, edify yourself with the reading of the Word, and engage this world for Christ. Until next time, God bless.